been seen by Martin Parker, who is our hip fracture specialist, who thought there was possibly a small crack, but it wasn't. It was something that we could probably treat non-optimally. Because I understand there were some concerns, I had a look at the X-rays at home last night, and I didn't think I could see a crack going all the way across. Okay, and I thought there was something extra around there, which is called an osteophyte, that might have broken off. It's called osteophyte. Okay, an osteophyte is a bit of extra bone that grows out when you have osteoarthritis, which your mum has on both hips. Okay, so how do you confirm, therefore, whether there is a break or not? Well, you can do it by examination, and she is a little bit sore, but actually, when you look at her, the way she can move her leg around, I think that Martin's approach to her hip fracture is entirely reasonable. But it looks a little bit too good for there to be a crack in her head. So we get a CT scan, and on the CT scan, I cannot convincingly see a break in the head. Okay? Right. So the problem is that particularly at this level where they are, what she does have is this kind of curtain of extra bone that's formed all the way round. So on the plain X-ray, it looks like a shadow, and it's not. We do see that quite a lot. Where this. So that's like the socket that sort of disguises. Well, it's actually not the socket. It's the head. So you get this kind of skirt that goes around it. Okay, so it kind of goes like that, and it's a classic picture of arthritis. And what it looks like is that one of those is probably broken off. Now, the CT scan is probably about 95% accurate. Okay, nothing is absolute. Okay, and the problem is that whatever you do is that there's always there's always a margin for error. Okay, but it's probably apart from putting everybody through an MRI scan, but we don't have enough MRI scanners as it is at the moment. To look at these, it's that with those two together you get about 99%. So we're pretty as accurate as we can be, within reasonable medicine. Looking at it, I don't think there's any indication for any operation. Okay, at this stage, and I think we're 99% sure that there's no significant bony injury there. So what would we do? Well, we treat with analgesia and get up and going, just as Martin was planning to do. Now, treat her with painkillers, yeah, and just get her up and walking as best we can. Yeah. Now, the problem is that osteoarthritis is sore. If you fall onto an osteoarthritic joint, my main speciality, outside of trauma, is looking at hands and wrists. And if you fall on your arthritic thumb, you may have never known you had arthritis, but you will know about it for the next 3 months. Okay, and then it will normally settle down again. So it is likely if you just treat it and get it going, is that hopefully she'll just get going. If there is a really tiny, if there is a fracture that we just can't see on any of the imaging, and it falls apart, well, we haven't lost anything by getting it going, and we just go and fix it at that point. And that is a very reasonable thing to do anyway. And before CTs and MRI scans became available, that's what we do all the time. And we know that if it does fall apart, that's fine. You just go back in there and you probably get a hip check because it's so sore. The other thing is if it doesn't settle down, okay, and quite clearly if it's carrying on being sore at that point, then we'll need to have a discussion about whether it's possible to do something about that in the form of a hip replacement. Okay. So it could not be broken. But it could not on that. She might be. Well, she might do. But the problem is, in that situation, we just have to look at her. We have to look at the risks of surgery. Yeah. Okay. Because hip replacement, she's got one of the guys who works house on the Notting Hip store. She did have hip replacement. It's about 10% risk of not getting through the whole process. Yeah. With a total hip pain, it's a slightly big operation. So the risk is probably about 1 in 10. Okay, so without getting a formal anaesthetic review on that. So we just but that is dying though, where there's there are other morbidities as well. Okay, so that hips can dislocate, they can get infected, and all those possibilities at the minute. I don't think it's broken. Okay, so I think it's completely safe just to give it painkillers and immobilise them. And if on a small chance that we are picking something up that's hidden on that, then we will just sort it out. But at the moment, I don't think there's any reason to go to theatre. All the ones that we take to theatre, usually you look at the X-ray, it's completely dark full, and the case you get a difficult one like this, where we're just not completely sure. So, in case it needs to be something that happens all the time, we do that.
So her pain seems to be getting worse.
Yeah.
So is that
well, I think this little extra bone she might have broken off, then maybe a little bit that's kind of crept into the joint, okay? And that's why she might be feeling a little sore. Now, we just have to see whether that settles down. If that doesn't settle down, that's why you would then be forced into a surgical option. Right. There isn't an easy surgery to go and fish that out, not from there. Okay, you have to dislocate the hip in order to do so. So that's a really, that's a quite a big hit. So if it will settle down by itself, okay, I'm not saying that it's definitely going to, I'm saying most people will, and if it does settle down to a manageable level, then that's what, is the easy option, okay? Total hip replacement, is not a benign procedure. It works very well. But, normally, because a lot of people will settle, one of the guidelines is that you should have had significant symptoms for at least 6 months before you should consider that. And that's entirely reasonable. There are a small number of people where they're getting really horrendously worse very quickly, and you see rapid X-ray changes, and we put those people through a bit more quickly in normal times. But most people, it is literally 6 months with other, significant painkillers, getting people going with physiotherapy, and then if it hasn't settled down, then it's a reasonable thing then to go to hip.
But then the accident happened in hospital.
Yeah, but the problem is if you fall on something, okay, and you've got a pre-existing arthritis, it's going to be sore.
Yeah.
That's not an indication for surgery.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if it was an operation, I'd expect that tomorrow, not 6 months' time. It's a hospital reduced.
Well, I know that. So, there we disagree. If I say this pre-existing arthritis is sore and it's sore and it should settle, why would you do this?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if it was broken.
If it was broken, I would expect it. If it was broken, okay, I would be doing the operation today. Yeah. Okay, so let's not go down that route. If I thought that there was a break there, obvious on the scan, obvious on the X-ray, we would be going to theatre this afternoon. Okay, because I want to get back to normal as quickly as possible. Okay, so normally we do hip fractures that are definite hip fractures within 36 hours of that patient presenting to us. Okay, that's our aim. So it's not that we are not doing this because if it was definitely broken, she would have already been done. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
You can, yeah.
Hello. Thank you. That's really helpful what you've described. Can I just check I've understood correctly? You've looked at the same X-rays, the 2 X-rays that have been done to date, and your thinking is it's not broken.
So I looked at the X-ray that was done previously, and I can see the bit which they think is a small crack, okay? And I looked at it and I said, I can't see anything going across. I can't see any of the other signs that this is a hip fracture. So there's a tiny, tiny little thing that you can see on one of the views, okay? Next to that, there is a kind of bit of free-floating bone, okay, which looks like something called an osteophyte that may have come off. Hence why I've got the CT scan, which is the CT scan is where you take the overall picture and you can create 3D slices, okay?
Yeah.
And what that doesn't show, it shows that little bit that you can see on the plain X-ray, but it doesn't show any propagation of that crack across the neck of the femur, okay? And in that situation, well, as far as I can see, there is no fracture there, no complete fracture. So therefore, this will just, if there is something there, it would just heal anyway. Okay?
There's a bit of bone potentially floating around.
But there is a little bit of bone that appears to possibly come off, which looks like one of these osteophytes. And that's a word that sounds like it's osteophyte, which if you look up on any picture, you can get that up on Google, it will show you something that is on the side. And when people do fall on arthritic bones, they quite often have these osteophytes because they're kind of protruding out where they're not supposed to be. And that looks like what has probably happened here. Okay? Now, I can't tell you that's definitely it, but what I can tell you is that there is no obvious fracture on that CT scan. And if there was, I'd be sorting it out. Well, we would have, if it had been obvious on the X-ray, we would have done it today. And if it was obvious on the CT scan, well, we would be, unfortunately, we just got an emergency about coming. We would have done it either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. But there isn't. Okay, so there isn't a reason for me to be rushing to tender.
So this is good news.
Yeah. So hopefully with decent painkillers and just get her up, we can see what happens. And if she's failing to progress with that, then we can ask one of our hip specialists to come and have a look and see what they think. Okay? Because I don't think it's I've looked very hard with fracture and I cannot convince myself that it's definitely one there.
So should we ask one of the hip specialists now, just for
well, I mean, there's no one here.
Well, no, I don't mean now. I mean on Monday.
But we can. What we'll do is run it past Sunday and Monday. Okay. Just to make sure.
Can I?
Did you get Mum to move and walk on it?
Well, I haven't seen it walk, but basically, one of the big tests that we have with someone actually breaking the hip is, can you lift your leg off the bed like that? Right. So you can do that right. Does it sore? Yeah. But actually, you normally have enough things that inhibit you doing it, so it stops you. Yeah. And if that's the case, if that was the case, then Martin would have just fixed it anyway. Okay, if she had actually, from what he saw there, if she had also the signs that suggested that there was definitely something, we would have gone definitely down that route. Now, what we've done is that, well, I've looked at it, I've had a report that there's increasing pain, and I've come and had a look at her this morning. She's still wagging her leg around in bed quite happily. So we've got the CT scan to say, well, do you know what do we need to do here? And at the moment, the CT scan does not support me doing anything more.
And when was the CT scan done?
This morning.
Oh, that was done today. Okay. And why, in that case, just trying to understand it, because we've been going backwards and forwards with things changing almost on an hourly basis. Why has everyone thought it's been broken up until this morning?
Well, it's like I said, is that on the plain X-ray, on the very corner of the head, there is something that looks like what's called a cortical defect. Okay, which is a sign that there may be a hip fracture. Okay, and so they've done that. Now, when Martin came, who you can look him up, is actually the world's most published hip fracture surgeon. Okay, when he looked at it, he said, well, there might be something there, but if it is, it's a very benign one. She's moving her leg around anyway. She just mobilise that. Okay, now that is something that we can do for very, very or partial hip fractures or unexplained hip fractures in this situation. And it's not unusual to do that, but particularly with people that just have a chest infection and things, but it's not an unreasonable thing to do. And they used to call this a test of mobilisation, and that either people would get going, okay, or it fall apart, in which case you fixed it. Okay, and it sounds like a bit of a kind of sledgehammer to crack in that sort of situation where you can get a CT scan. But we struggle to get CT scans on most days, and we were quite lucky to be able to get one this morning. But we've now dotted the I's and crossed the T's with that, and that's just what we've done. I mean, if you've got doubt, you then get an extra test. And it's because I was asked last night, and I looked at it, well, I've got doubt, that we got the CT scan this morning. Yeah.
That's fantastic, thank you.
Yeah. Yesterday you were told it was displaced.
Well, Well, I don't think that. Right. But the problem is that it's the whole little message that go round is that certainly the message that I got was, well, we were handed over in yesterday's meeting that this was undisplaced if it was there, and that she should just get up and go. Okay, and that was a message that Martin had on Thursday. And that's why we've gone down where we've got, and I can totally understand. But the problem is that two different letters and it becomes a completely different message. Yeah. So, it's never easy. Okay, but I think at the moment we can see this sort of we just see what she's doing getting okay. If she's still struggling on Monday, we'll get one of the hip specialists to look at it and see whether we feel that we should be urgent or whether we should actually just be waiting to see whether it gets better and maybe takes its course and the team moves on itself. Because that's always the best thing. Because although, if you're a really fit, kind of 70-year-old, a hip replacement should be walking part, but one of our nurses has just had hers done. She's now 8 months down the pain. She's in more pain than this. So it sometimes doesn't really happen. It doesn't go well. Fortunately, she went somewhere else because if it's one of your friends that's done it, it's a real problem.
Yeah. So the plan now would be to get her doing physio.
Yes. Yeah.
Like as soon as.
So it's mobilised as pain allows over the weekend. We'll try and get her up as best we can, and we'll keep an eye on it. Okay.
And what would be the ideal sort of level of physio to be doing to recover from this?
Well, so really at this point at the moment, we're just trying to get her to initially stand, start transferring, start going to short walks, getting to the loo and back is the thing, and that will start by the bed and then get to the loo across the room. And the question is, do we need to give her any walking aids and things like that? Okay, and see whether she'll use them happily. And if she can, okay, that's how we progress. And sometimes it will take a few weeks for this.
Okay.
So that's not a problem.
And given you've seen her and tested her, what would be a length of time she'd need to continue to stay in hospital?
Well, I'm not aware of all the other issues that are still going on, because she's still obviously on a little bit of oxygen. But if she was otherwise fit and well, okay, and able to do the physio and home was set up very quickly, okay, we would be expecting no more than 2 to 3 days, okay, this would set her back, but that depends on there being an improvement. Right.
And there are options. Therapy will have a plan, and it might be that she progresses well enough in the hospital to then continue to have community therapy.
Yeah, I mean, it's that.
But that will come from the therapy team, and the benefit of effects and their time. So that's a conversation for later on down the line once she's been assessed and started and what have you.
At this point in time, we want people to be in here as really short times. So it's not something that we will push that down.
The other reason I ask is that Mum has permanent living carers. So there's logistics for us to go through in terms of knowing when you need.
And are they private?
They're private.
That's normally not much.
Yeah.
And contest to the general.
Any equipment is needed therapy team while renting and getting delivered. And if there's any additional training needed, therefore that happens.
So it looks like we hopefully will have a way forward. We will get everything we need on Monday anyway, and we will go. Okay, but like I said, maybe there's no rush to do anything with that. Okay.
Thank you. And so this little bone spur that's broken off, that's sort of from pre-existing arthritis. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Great. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. No problem at all. Hopefully it's a relief, but she's still a bit sore. Hopefully
it's a massive relief. Thank you very much.
There was a conversation yesterday. Yesterday, so I'll be calling you this afternoon. as you've been in this conversation, do you still want me to call you this afternoon?
No, that's fine. Thank you. No, I wasn't expecting a call from you. I just asked for a phone number in case we needed to call somebody.
No, that's fine.
So,
Dr. Day, that you spoke to yesterday, and Terry Boyle, they both asked me to make sure that I would touch base with you to update you.
oh, okay.
What happened today, but I just wanted to check with you as you've been in this call, that's all.
Yes, no, that's great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, lovely.
So I wonder if though maybe we should get an update tomorrow. Are you in tomorrow?
I'm not in tomorrow, but I have already emailed my counterpart, Diana, to give your sister a call tomorrow.
Lovely.
And I'll give her the phone number to call.
Okay.
So she already, because my understanding of the plan was that we were going to call you at 3 o'clock over the weekend to update you as to how she's been and what have you. So Diana will already know to call at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. And then in terms of, obviously, mobilisation then, so can we sort of do a few bits and pieces?
What we'll do is we'll get the HDAs to support her to transfer from the bed to the armchair, and that will be what we'll do with her over the weekend. We will see what we can manage with her over the weekend. We have occupational therapists, physiotherapists on the ward. They will pick her up, they'll do their initial assessment, and then they will take the plans for building up her mobility from there. So now we've got the instruction that we've mobilised as planned, we can make a small start.
That's what I was thinking.
While we're waiting for the therapist to do their assessment.
Because apparently she was moving around the bed and transferring anyway, so let's get her back.
Absolutely. And we as nursing and their staff will start that while we're waiting for therapy. We won't delay, because the longer she's in bed, not using her legs to stand, the worse it's going to be for her muscles.
Because she was, before this, she was really quite mobile. And
I saw after the first fall, she'd got everything already in place. I was going to discuss with you. She was already on a low-rise bed. She'd already got the bed linings on. She'd gotten herself to the end of the bed and had come out between the gap where the bed rails were. So she was actually sat at the foot of the bed. So everything was already in place. She didn't move into the close observation bay until after the fall. I've just looked at the times. So it was after the second fall that she moved into the close observations there.
So did you just say it was after the second fall that she was moved to the 1 to 3?
Yeah. I was on shift. I wasn't directly involved, but I was on shift after the first fall. And because of the number of patients that we've got on the ward, we didn't have a bed available in our close observations bay. So we had increased the frequency that we were checking on her, and it would have been in between checks that the second one happened.
Right.
Which was when as soon as the bed became available in the close observations bay, we then moved her over.
Okay.
But I think Dr. Dale and Kelly discussed yesterday about putting this all in a formal letter for you so that you could see a timeline of events.
Yes, thank you.
All the information will go into that.
Lovely, thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to tell Mum the good news then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, that's fantastic. Oh my God, what a 48 hours it's been.
I cannot tell you how much stress we've been under.
I can imagine.
Because with all Mum's health issues, with her heart and strokes and seizures, the one thing that Mum has is her independence and mobility.
Absolutely.
Around her house, she doesn't need any aid. She's sick. She does all this sort of thing. And the thought that was going to be compromised was almost too much to bear.
I can only imagine what it's like.
The other, that's good. The other thing though is that Mum's self-catheterize is quite.
We had discussed that yesterday prior to all of this, because our plan initially was to take out the catheter she's got at the moment and see how she managed. But obviously, we want to make sure that she's going to be able to move freely enough to be able to continue with that
wrong. She actually straddled the toilet.
Well, that's,
So she's sitting there with her legs spread, basically. So she needs the rotation to be able to do that. And it's this horrible dichotomy, because whenever she has a semi-permanent catheter fitted, she always gets bladder infections.
Sure.
So we're keen to get it.
Risk we always try and avoid using it, because that is a well-documented risk of having the knee.
but that, can I just, my understanding, talking to Dr. Maragadel on, I can't remember when it was now, was that given the hip situation and the pain she's in, and she also gets up once or twice in the night to go to the loo, even though she's used the catheters, that the best thing would be to leave the catheter in on discharge, and then in hopefully a week or two, when she's fitter, get the district nurses to come and remove it.
Yes, so that's what I was going to go on to say.
Okay.
That is the plan going forward. Automatically on discharge, we will do a district nurse referral for catheter care.
Perfect.
We will put in that referral that she would normally self-catheterise and what have you. They're limited for the equipment of the bladder scouts in the community. So we would get a heads up, we would give them a heads up that she would need to have a drop, because there's trial without catheter. They would need to bladder scan, check that she was voiding. They would assess her to see how her movement was to be able to continue as she had been prior to this. So that referral will go in on the day she leaves the hospital.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I think that's it then, Kel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's, gosh, what an absolute relief. Goodness. Thank you very much for all of this.
Yeah, it was amazing that we got scanned done this morning.
I mean, they were quite keen to try and get that done so that they could just come and have this conversation with you.
Yeah, thank God.
And have the evidence there to back up what their thoughts were. So
I guess the final piece is if we can get it reviewed by the hip specialist on Monday.
They'll discuss it with the hip specialist on Monday, and then they'll be guiding what
Who is the hip specialist? What role is that?
He's the consultant, the same I understand, but I don't know the names of all of the different consultants and their relative specialities, I'm afraid.
So, are they an osteopath essentially?
I don't know. That isn't my area of speciality, and we don't meet them very often on this ward.
Oh, okay.
They to know them all individually, what their particular areas are.
I got the impression that it was like the hip equivalent of Dr. McKee, because he said his specialist was hand and wrist and stuff, whereas he referred to the equivalent of a hip specialist, which we need because of hip, isn't it?
So that's presumably Dr. Parker then?
Is he the one that he spoke to before? Possibly.
Yes.
Possibly.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.